Welcome, students, to Rayobyte University's video lecture on the subject of parsing with BeautifulSoup. I'm Isaac Coleman, and I'm the dean of this alleged institution of higher learning. This is part of our Intro to Web Scraping course, which you can find in full in both written and video form at rayobyte.com/university. In our last video, we covered HTTP GET and POST requests, which we use to get lots and lots of words. But what if you want slightly fewer words? In this video, we're going to show you how to parse out the information you actually want from the information that's total rubbish. Let's turn things over to our Professor of Innovation, Neil Amy, and guest lecturer, Oleg Zaidener.
Thanks, Dean. Oleg, can you talk to us a little bit about why and how we use BeautifulSoup when we're doing web scraping?
Sure. So BeautifulSoup is the next level from what we did in the last class. In the last class, we get the data from, let me open the source code, from the request library, but we want to dive deep to this huge HTML and extract our data. So how we do it? First of all, you need to do the pip install if you're running your local machine. But it's already installed in Google Colab, so I don't need to. And then we do import from BS4. It's version BeautifulSoup version 4. Oh, it's checking if I'm a robot. I don't. And then how it works? We ask soup equal BeautifulSoup HTML content, and then we use LXML. This is one of the libraries that helps BeautifulSoup.
So before we dive into all this, Oleg, I want to make sure I'm understanding it right. So in our previous lesson, we got the full HTML source, which I think you might have pulled up on your browser tab there, the view source. And with HTTP GET, we just get all this jumbled mess. So BeautifulSoup lets us parse out the information that we only want. So if we're scraping a e-commerce site, we would want just the price of that product, right? Is that how this helps us?
Yeah, absolutely. Using BeautifulSoup, we can pinpoint to exact part of the web page. For example, we want to take only this thing, or we want only the titles, or we want price, as you mentioned, or number of comments or reviews, right? So this is
right. Okay, and of course, as the dean already knows, we're going to move from BeautifulSoup to Scrapy later on in this course, because Scrapy is a more powerful framework for many things, including parsing in the context of web scraping. How do we get, for example, the title, the price, and things of that nature? What's the mechanics of BeautifulSoup here?
Nice. So we prepared here a few examples. So first one, we can find things in the HTML by elements. So P, it's an element for the paragraph. This is why we call it like first paragraph, soup find P. So BeautifulSoup will find the first paragraph that here is, yeah, this is one. This is the first P in whole HTML, right? Maybe it's too much for you right now, but this is the foundation. And we can print the first paragraph. Then we can find all. This is another function of the BeautifulSoup. Find all the paragraph, right? And if I run it, I see the first paragraph is learn how to extract from HTML. This is the first one. And all the paragraphs, this is all the paragraphs that we have on the page. This one, this, and this, right? Does it make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One question, can you explain a little bit more what the LXML line is for and why that's required?
LXML is BeautifulSoup it's very old library, but it's quite foundational, right? And as you can see, if we put here our mouse, there is a different libraries that BeautifulSoup can use to parse HTML. LXML is one of the advanced. You can use HTML parse or HTML5 if it's HTML5 page, but LXML will probably work for you in most cases quite well.
Got it. Okay, cool. Okay, so we found our first paragraph, and then we're able to find all paragraphs. What's next?
Yeah. Also, what we can find here, we were looking like P. P is a paragraph again. Like for people that not super familiar with HTML, everything with a tag P is a paragraph. We have section, we have H2, we have div. Right. This is elements. We can look not by element in HTML. We can look by class. This is most of the modern HTML pages. They're full of different classes. They use it for visualization, so we can search elements by class, especially when you scrape something like Amazon pricing. It's inside div, but you can find it by class. And BeautifulSoup give us this ability. So before we said find all P, but now we say find all class underscore equal empty5. So we will find everything where the class is empty5, and let's give it a look. It's here, right? So we will find all the section elements, and if you print it, you can see this is all the section elements with the class empty5 here. Does it make sense?
Yeah, brilliant. So it's a bit more, it depends on how the target website designs their page and how they kind of organize content. In this case, the MT5 is like how we've containerized it as the class here, and that's the information that's being output, these three. Yeah, cool.
And another option that BeautifulSoup give us, so basically it's an element, it's a class, or it's ID. This is a foundation of HTML. So we have another example when we're looking for ID navbar support content, and in the HTML here it's here. Sometimes you have element with div, class something, and ID something.
And when would you, as a web scraper, when would I use one over the other? How should I be thinking about when to use these?
Usually what I do, you try class first, ID second, and element third, and make sense that it's working, right? Because sometimes it's also protection from scrapping. People tend to do all this kind of mixed here and there. So whatever works better for you in the specific case.
Got it. So it doesn't matter, just whatever gets essentially the data that you're looking for.
Exactly.
Yeah, cool.
And another thing that we can find is we can use BeautifulSoup elements to get some data out of it. For example, very important data in HTML scrapping is the href. It's a link to some next page. For example, again, you scrape Amazon and there is a link to the product page, it will be in href, right? So we can find all the A is a link in HTML, and then BeautifulSoup, you know how to open this A link. Let's go to some example. It's like here, like A class drop down item href link to another page, right? So we want only this link, and this is how we use it in BeautifulSoup for tag in A tags, href get href, so we can get any property of the element, and we can print it, and we can get to the element of this A link, right?
Got it. Okay, so we've covered parsing out the data, tag, classes, IDs, and then here with attributes. Is there anything else?
I think it's the foundations of BeautifulSoup. Combining all these elements, you can do most of the scraping for the static stuff.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Oleg. Dean, did you learn something here today?
To be honest, I've been spaced out ever since we started talking about BeautifulSoup. It caused me to reflect on some of the beautiful soups of my youth, like a ribollita I once enjoyed in the Italian countryside. Students, tune in next time to learn all about parsing CSS with me and the professors. Until then, don't forget to check this video's description for more information such as the code we use today and the written version of today's lecture.